So today we are talking to Sarica, who has built an incredible career in UK. So the million pound question is: should she retire in UK or should she return back to India? So hi Sarika, welcome to
Hello.
Savetaxs. Chapter of this podcast is about how was your life in UK from starting. So my first question is: how was your first month in UK?
The first month,
Yeah.
it was different. I think my biggest moment was for me when I took the first flight to the UK and landed here without spending a single money. I know many students who spend thousands pounds here to study here, and I came directly on a UK work visa. I did not come here to study, so that was already a big achievement for myself that I stepped into the UK on a work permit without spending a single money because it was sponsored by my company, my flights, my hotels, and other bits. And then, of course, it took me little time as a middle class background person settling down here because that looked a little bit of luxury for me. But my family was there to support me. I was struggling with the cold weather. So cold weather, I was struggling with a little bit of accent. I was also struggling a little bit of understanding the cost and the culture of people. But I think the biggest struggle for me was the accent because come from India and the British accent was not very easy to understand in the beginning. And if you don't understand the accent, how can you communicate to them? So that was my biggest challenge in my first month, and also learning about how things are different between UK and India. So my comparison already started with pounds versus rupees, how different it is, how costly is UK. But and then once I settle down, of course, you start liking things. You do have your own struggles in the beginning, but that was my little bit of struggle. But it was also a sense of achievement. It was a mixed feeling of everything. And UK is dream for everybody. And I realized I was in one of the country which was deemed for most of the Indians back in India. So I was also feeling proud. So it was a good feeling and mixed feeling.
Great. So, my next question is, how's job hunting UK? Like what your experience India matters, or it was like it is zero starting from your side. Like, was your experience in India matters to you in your UK journey, or you have to start from zero?
So first of all, the biggest myth that I think what Indians believe is that your India's experience is not counted in the UK, which is wrong. In fact, you will be surprised to know that UK is not a degree-based market. UK is experience and skill-based market. The most experience you have, the more experience and more skills you have, and the skills which are in demand in the UK doesn't really matter whether your experience is in India or UK or somewhere else. And do not rely just on degree. So I did a bachelor's back in India. I have not even done master's, to be honest, but I was granted a visa because my skill was in demand. I work in IT. I still work in IT. And when I moved here 15 years ago, I was also working in IT as a developer. So irrespective of whichever field you are, you need to first of all find out whether that is in demand in the UK or not. If it is in demand, definitely your work experience back in India is counted. For some of the roles, you need to have a professional qualification. Let me put it that way. Okay, IT is generic, so you need to have your own certifications, which is needed for IT. If you are from finance, you need to have all those kind of qualification for nurses, and of course for doctors, you have all those qualifications. But other than that, if you have experience from India, it is definitely counted here in the UK.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the cost of living. Like how costly is living how costly is living in UK? Like the people who are living in UK, the people who are in India, they feel that it might be a bigger cost of living in UK.
Okay, so let's take this with an example. We know that Mumbai is quite expensive, right? So let's compare Mumbai and London. So your cost of living in Mumbai will be, of course, very expensive as compared to, say, if you live in Pune. So same goes here in the UK. If you're living in London, living in London is expensive as compared to if you live outskirts of London. Okay, now let's take an example of a student. When students come here, they come on a sharing, they live in a sharing basis. Like if you take a 1 bedroom flat or 2 bedroom flat, 2 or 3 more students together, 4 students live, then your cost of living doesn't come out to be too much, because the maximum percentage of your cost is your rent that you have to pay here. Okay. So for students who live here in London on a sharing basis, say they have to spend 1,000 or 1,200 pounds in total, for your rent, inclusive of your rent, your other bills like your food, your transport, and other bills. Now let's talk about couple. So say husband and wife, they are here in the UK. So for that, minimum you have to take a 1 bedroom flat. And if you have children, then of course, depending on the age of your child and whether it's a girl or boy, you need to take 2 bedroom flat, for example, if you have a girl child. And then your cost of living goes up because of the type of property you have to take. So in general, on an average in London for couple, I will say definitely you have to spend around, say, 1,800 to 2,500 pounds in the UK rent, plus your cost of living, like your utility bills, your transport, and other bits. And if you're outside London, for students, I know students who are living here very easily with £1,000, and for couples, I have seen here people living with say £1,500 to £1,700 monthly. So for my Indian audience, let me, I don't know the exchange rate as of now, but say when I say £1,000, say roughly 1 lakh Indian rupees. And then if I say £1,500, say 1.5 lakhs in Indian rupees. But of course, this is a very subjective, it all depends how would you like to live. There are also students who are from a well-off family. They don't like to live in a sharing basis. So they have their own separate flat where they don't share their kitchen or they don't share their bathroom. So it all depends on that. But for middle class and for average people, this is what the cost of living is in London and outside London.
Okay. So moving on, like what was your first encounter with racism in UK? Like,
to be honest, I didn't face any direct racism till now. In 15 years, I have not. Of course, we know about all the immigration rights which are happening, which keep happening sometime or the other. But to be honest, I didn't face anything on my own. But I'm going to highlight here something. It did take me some time to understand the British culture, especially the way people often communicate. Uh, they may not always say things openly to your face, but you sometimes hear feedback or opinions indirectly. So adjusting to that style of communication was part of my UK journey. I mean, back in India, if I have to give you a feedback, I'll give you directly feedback. I won't tell you indirectly something, or I will not go and tell a third person. So that was a little change for me. I realized they're not very direct in your communication. They won't tell you something. So it took me a little time to adjust with that. That was my biggest adjustment, because my nature was a little different. So I took time to adjust with it. But in terms of racism, coming back to your question, I haven't faced any racism as such. Or maybe it does exist. To be honest, I was blessed with the company, the corporate culture. I had been working here. I never ever faced it.
okay. So, like I want to know why you could have gone to Canada, you have gone to Australia or US. Why you choose Britain?
To be honest, during my early career, I had visas done for 2 countries. One was one was USA, and second was UK. So I did have choice to go to USA. But my concern with the USA was about the gun violence, which we always hear in the news. And the second thing was about the long green card waiting times, which I heard from my friends. And of course, the long distance from India, because I was going out for the first time. I didn't want to go really far, that if I have to come back to my family for anything emergency, especially given that our parents are aging and all, I didn't want to take that risk. So I felt UK was more like a natural choice for me, because it was closer to India. If I take a flight at night, in the morning I can be in India anytime. And UK did offer easy settlement as compared to USA. For example, as of today, if you are on a work visa for 5 years, you can apply for your indefinite leave to remain, which is called permanent residency. And year after, you can apply for your British passport like we did. And then, of course, UK felt more familiar to me as compared to US. I never kind of like that US violence culture. And when I had been hearing a lot in the news, I had all negative kind of feelings. So I chose UK. I did not have choice at that time for say Canada or Australia, but because I was working for IT MNC and I knew if I was in India for longer, I would have got choice to be anywhere I wanted because I was working in one of the demand skills, which was quite niche for all the market.
Okay. So moving on, like Sarika, like you have incredible 15 years in UK. So like, would you recommend the new people who are coming to abroad or they want to settle abroad? So what would be your recommendation? Like, still you will believe that UK is a better choice than other countries, or you will go with like it depends upon the person what their career choice is all about. Like, what is your
To be honest, people have to ask that question to themselves. What is their end goal? First of all, you need to understand their end goal. For example, if a student or someone comes to me saying, hey, I want to settle in this particular country. If I want to go out, I want to settle. Then check out the immigration rules. Does that country allow a permanent settlement or not? For example, people choose Dubai because it's a tax-free country, but it doesn't allow you permanent settlement. So if your goal is to get a permanent settlement, then Dubai is not, or UAE is not a good market for you. But if you are someone who want to save a lot of money, like save taxes and then return back to India after working for say 15, 20 years, yes, UAE or Dubai is the best market for you. Okay. In terms of now, say there are people I know who wants to earn, of course, in dollars, like US pays pretty good. As compared to UK, but their permanent settlement is not good. Like I mentioned, green card waiting time is quite higher. So in that case, you need to decide whether you need a permanent settlement versus a higher salary. If your goal is to just get a higher salary, earn for 15, 20 years and come back to India, say for retirement, US is a better option. But say in the UK, if you compare salary of UK versus US, UK doesn't pay you as much money as US does. So maybe then UK is not for you. But for people who wants to be in the UK for longer term, want to settle down. So, the moment you get your UK work visa, you can settle down in the UK in 5 years' time. Then definitely you compromise on the salary or the money bit, but you get your British passport, which gives you the ability to travel if that's one of the goal. If you want to travel abroad more or see the world, definitely UK will be a better choice. Uh, there are countries like Germany, there are countries like Ireland, they also offer a good permanent settlement. So if someone say they are very good with engineering, Germany is the best market. Ireland allows you to settle within 2 years. There is a visa category called as CSCP, which is for people with critical skills, which is in demand there. So people can settle in Ireland in 2 years, and that's a permanent settlement. So it all depends what is the end goal of someone, whether for settlement or just for some time, explore the market, earn money, and then go back to India for retirement. So there are various countries available now based on your choice. So you can choose. And I was quite young when I moved here. I did not know too much about immigration, but again, I'm very happy with the decision I made for UK. I don't think I regret. So again, anyone who's eyeing UK is a tough market to crack, but it is market only for highly skilled people. If you have the right skills and the experience, UK is still pretty good, I'll say.
uh, so let's talk about pollution, like how breathing clean air change your life.
Pollution, you said.
Yeah.
Ooh. I think it changed everything. I mean, I didn't even realize it until I went back to India.
Mhm.
In the UK, you don't think about air actually, you just breathe it. But when you return to a metro city in India, like I go to Delhi, the contrast hits you immediately. I mean, I was sick for almost a week back in India whenever I travel to India, I fall sick. Let me put it that way. And then, of course, other side effects are always there, like burning eyes, sore throat, fatigue. And when you are in the UK, you don't realize that you are already breathing the clean air. So clean air means you better sleep, more energy, and fewer respiratory issues. So it's like a silent luxury, I'm going to say. Like we often take it for granted, we don't talk about it too much. And so I think it's not just a health benefit, it improves your mental well-being, if I can say that. But again, remember, I didn't move here for clean air. I was too young that time to even make a decision based on the clean air. But now it's one of the biggest reasons, maybe also why I'm here in the UK. That's all I have to say.
Okay. So moving on, like, should Indians still choose UK? Like in 2025, if like I have heard like people are very they are not very much sure about UK, like the current job market, and like they are not getting visas. So like this dream is outdated, or you still think the UK is the better choice?
Like I said, UK is for only highly skilled people. Okay. Earlier, people even with medium skill managed to find a job with sponsorship, or even people with low skill jobs. But recently, UK government made massive changes on 22nd of July, which made it very clear that you can be sponsored only if your job is above RQF level 6. So I'm going to say, I don't think the dream is outdated, but it has evolved. So the UK still offers, remember, world-class education, global work experience, exposures that's hard to replicate in India. But it's no longer a guaranteed success story. For example, if you come to do a master's, it doesn't mean that you can settle down here. You've got to struggle. If you just having a master's degree from the UK doesn't land you a visa sponsorship job. If you have the right skills and experience, which I was talking about, in these skills which are in demand in the UK, then only you have a good chance. Again, the job market is slow now. It's like a global recession at the moment. So it's survival of the fittest. So if you have the right skills and experience in the skills which is demand in the UK, it is still a good market, I will say, only for people who are highly skilled. But other things that people should also remember, okay, which people forget. I was talking about cost of living is high. Immigration rules keep shifting. Maybe like I mentioned today, as of today, you can get your ILR in 5 years. The moment you get your skill visa for 5 years, there's a debate already happened in the parliament. They want to shift from 5 years to 10 years. And because they want to cut down on the net migration. So that is happening. So you see, immigration rules are shifting and it's evolving, and it's also making it tough for people to settle down. And they want only cream people now. They have made it very clear. And the competition, I said, is fierce. So it's a survival of the fittest. So yes, young Indians can still come, but come with clarity, skills, and long-term plan. It's not just about going abroad anymore. It's about what you can do once you are here. Do not spend that 20,000 pound and then think, okay, now what do I do? Most of the people who come here, I see they're struggling because they did not study the UK market. They didn't know what to study or what jobs are in demand or what skills are in demand. So do your homework before you plan for UK.
So, like after 15 years, when you come to India, what change you think, like what change you see in the country, like how we are doing, how India is doing, anything which made you like, what is this, like what India has done?
Okay, I'm going to say something which blew my mind was digital India. That is real. When I say digital India, which is UPI payments everywhere, QR codes at street vendors. I mean, for your local shops or grocery when you go. In my early days, I never imagined I could go in India, scan a barcode, and pay for it without even carrying a cash. I think that was a big shift I have seen. I don't think UK is even closer. So UK need to learn that from India. I think so personally. And so that was biggest thing. Of course, I know there's a wave of entrepreneurs now because of Shark Tank, so that has ignited people's mindset or thought process of having a business of their own, which is pretty good. And also good to see that Indian government is also helping. They have a lot of schemes to support entrepreneurs, and those were the big change or shift I have seen. I mean, in the positive side, of course. But again, if you look at the other side, was population. I mean, UK is still not yet populated as India. So when I go back to India, I feel like it's overcrowded, populated everywhere. So that was a big difference. So of course, noise, pollution. But again, you don't get everything in all the country, whether it's UK or India. But if I look at the changes which is happening in India, it's happening for the good. And it is not cheap. India is not cheap anymore. We initially used to think, you earn pounds and then you can spend and have a lavish life back in India. When I do a comparison, India is not cheap anymore. It's pretty expensive. And at least I'm talking about when I go to Delhi, that is where my home is. So I can compare how much I'm spending, when and where, and how much it costs to me. So India is expensive, but the biggest thing that I saw was digital India, UPI payments. I think India can educate other countries as well.
Okay. So what my next question is on the comparison only. Like what is what the comparison between the quality of life? Like if you have been in India, really. So like what would be what will be your quality of life when we are comparing it to the UK?
So India versus UK.
Yeah.
In UK feels things are a little more structured. I mean, things run on time, buses come on time. If a meeting is scheduled for 9 a.m., people will arrive, say, 8:45 or 8:50. People are punctual. They give respect to your time. If you are scheduled for a meeting or something. In India, I have not seen that. If you are supposed to join a meeting for 5 o'clock, or they don't come like before 5:30 or 6. Even when I was in India, when I took an appointment, doctor's appointment, I was given appointment, say again 5 o'clock. Doctor did not turn up or did not see me till 5:30. If my appointment is 5:30 here, they will expect me to be here 5:15. So I know whatever time they have given, they ask you to be 15 minutes before, just in case they manage to finish the previous patient, they can see you. I think that was good. I like my personal space in the UK. I like it is not that crowded, so I like a little bit of peace and sometimes a sense of independence as well. But having said that, um, I also have a feel. I mean, I feel isolated sometimes, especially say during long winters. It's the month of depression. And during the festival time, it is the time when you miss your family the most. So, but I have a hack. I try to invite my parents or my in-laws here so that we don't feel that way, or we plan back in India. But those are the things. If I compare now in India, if I look at my family, like my parents or my brother, their life would be more vibrant, I believe. Family around, they have domestic help at home, and they have more social lifestyle because there are more families, friends, relatives coming, joining in all occasion, whether it's birthday, anniversaries, any festivals you have. But sometimes it's also more noise, it's more chaos. And like I said already, population. But again, it all depends what kind of person you are. What do you prefer? Nothing is the best. You don't get the best in both the countries. You need to trade off what is better for you, comfort versus convenience, or independence versus community, family time versus your own your own personal space. So those are the change. Those are the things that I see a difference in India and UK. But a lot of domestic help is provided in India, which you don't get that easily in the UK. It is available in the UK, but it is little expensive. Only few people can afford. If you can afford, maybe you can have the same kind of lifestyle as back in India.
So moving on to the retirement questions. So like moving on to when you are in 60s, like how what you will be, where do you wake up in morning, like London or Bombay?
Oh, can I wake up 6 months in Mumbai and 6 months in London? I don't know if I can get a bit of both. But again, definitely this is a tough one. See, having lived in the UK for the past 15 years, London does feel like a home now. Their sense of stability, access to services, and the life I have built over here, which I have enjoyed. But again, being an Indian, we all are emotionally connected to India, right? So emotionally, India will always pull at the heartstrings. So, okay, if given a choice, maybe spending the summers in the UK and winters in India. Um, if I have a choice, if I don't have a choice, if you say, okay, you don't have a choice, I'll prefer then UK or London.
So what is healthcare reality, like NHS in London versus Indian private hospitals? Like what we consider is like Indian medical facilities is much better from all other countries with respect of cost, respect of facilities. So what do you think?
See, there are two things. First of all, when you access NHS, so till the time you are on a visa, whether you are on a student visa, dependent visa, or till the time you're on a skilled visa, in your visa, you already pay a tax amount to use NHS, but you don't pay anything other than that. So, say you have already got a visa of 5 years, you have paid the NHS amount in that. And now tomorrow you are sick and you need access to the doctors. It can be, how severe your sickness is, doesn't really matter, or how mild it is. You can access NHS. You don't have to pay anything additional to what you have already paid during your period of applying for your visa. And once you get your ILR, you pay nothing actually as a British passport holder. You pay nothing. It's completely free for you for any kind of service. If they think you need that treatment, being a British or being a permanent citizen, they give that to you. They also give it to people who are on a visa, by the way. It doesn't mean only for British, but you don't pay anything when you get a British passport or ILR. However, back in India, I know because it's private, and if you can afford it, things are at your fingertips. You can get an appointment today. If I call a doctor, I can get the same day, or I can walk into a clinic and get an appointment, or even the next day, which is not possible in the UK. If you remember what I said in one of my previous answers, UK is structured. They plan things for you. They do have an emergency department if you're really sick, and you can go to the emergency. But say you require a surgery, and if they found something wrong and you require surgery, they will give you an appointment, and maybe that appointment is after 3 months. At that time, you need to decide, what do you prefer? Do you prefer to wait for 3 months or go back India and get your surgery and pay that amount and come back? So there is a pros and cons of both. In India, private, yes, it's available at your fingertips only if you can afford it, because it's also expensive. Remember, not everybody can afford that hospital fees. But in NHS, doesn't really matter how rich or poor you are. It is there for everybody. So again, at least NHS will not make you bankrupt. It is there for everyone, irrespective of your salary. It is there for everyone. And I think India, again, it's a high quality private healthcare that you get in India, but also that comes with a cost. So personally, if I have to use India's healthcare, I can fly anytime and take that service. And if I'm in the UK, if I'm given that service, and if I don't need urgently, I'm happy to wait for NHS. So I'm not going to complain.
So, like, how far does £1 million in India versus £1 million in UK for retirement?
Oh dear. You're asking me tough questions. Yeah, you're already making me think, what should I do if I have that money, whether I should pack my bag or go. So in India, like I said, with 1 million pounds, it can give you a truly luxurious retirement. You can afford a nice home, nice bungalow, maybe. You can get a domestic health 24/7, the healthcare, private healthcare, like you were talking about, those hospitals, and still have savings to spare. You can use that money maybe to travel or enjoy your life. In the UK, if I compare that 1 million pound, it's comfortable. But again, it's not extravagant like back in India, especially with inflation and high living costs, which we talked about. So it will give you a decent lifestyle, but you still need to budget it carefully. So in terms of buying power, India wins, but it depends on the lifestyle you want and the kind of infrastructure you need around you. So it depends from person to person. Yeah. Again, if you ask me my choice, I will still prefer UK, but my husband will prefer India. He craves for it. Yeah. So let's see what we do after, I don't know, when we are at the age of retirement, what plan or what decisions we are going to do. So it depends on person, what they need. And again, it's like a debate, one likes this, the other doesn't, and both got a point. So how do you find that perfect balance? That's why we're saying can we do 6 months here? Can we do 6 months there? Or maybe 6 months in Mumbai, get up in Mumbai, and 6 months in London.
Yeah. So let's talk about tax. So, like, what is your biggest mistake which you made in UK regarding taxation? Like anything regarding taxation?
I think I made many tax mistakes, by the way. Let me tell you. The biggest mistake which gave me pain was I thought because I'm already paying tax in India, I don't need to declare that in the UK. and that was a blunder. So I had to sort that out later on with HMRC. That is the biggest thing which I remember. Of course, with a lot of stress I had to go through. I think people need to remember, if you're a UK resident, you are legally required to declare all your global income, even if it's already taxed, say back in India. And my only learning from it is, if you don't know anything, go out and look for experts who can help and support you. That is where Savetaxs, like you guys, had been helping me now for some time. And I don't stress out anymore. I'm quite chilled out because I know I'm in good hands. So again, that is a piece of advice I'll say. It's okay to make a mistake, but learn from it and then make a forward plan, reach out to experts so that you don't repeat your mistake.
So, I would like to ask one thing, like double taxation, like India or UK, like how it affects your taxation process.
Did you say double taxation?
Yeah, double taxation between India and UK.
Yeah,
Explain.
yeah. Yes, I don't think many people know about it, but this is a recent changes or announced between India and the UK. They have agreed, which is called as DTA, which means Double Taxation Avoidance Agreement, which means if you have paid tax back in India, you get some credit for it, and then you pay only the remaining amount in the UK. You don't pay the full amount. In simple terms, let me explain with an example. Say I got a property back in India and I get some rental income. And based on that rental income, say I have to pay, I'll put it in pounds now so that it's easier in one currency. Say I have to pay, say, £2,000 tax. So I have already paid, say, £2,000 to Indian government. Now, back in India, back in the UK, given that I live in UK, I'm resident of UK, I already have my own annual income here. So based on my annual income, based on the salary slab, I need to declare my income from India. I need to declare how much tax I have already paid. So say based on my calculation here, I need to pay a total tax of say £4,000. So because in India, I have already paid that amount, which is 2,000 for the global income, I don't have to pay £4,000 because £2,000, say I've already paid in India. Now I have to pay only the remaining credit. So I have to pay, say, another £2,000 rather than paying the £4,000 before that DTA was signed. So that is a little bit of relief for anyone who got income both in UK and India. And again, thanks to your teams, because I have taken help from your team to sort out things, my personal things, because I still have some earnings back in India.
Okay. So, I would like to ask you one thing. Like, one tax planning every UK-based Indian, which we should make every year.
From my personal mistakes, I'm going to tell you what are the things I struggle, and maybe people can learn from it. Uh, I find taxes very difficult myself to manage, so I've got an expert, like I told you. But make sure you track your remittance and overseas income carefully. If you send money to India or invest or you keep accounts abroad, report that correctly. And if you're using say ISA and pension contributions in the UK, it is also a smart move. They can reduce your taxable income while building your long-term savings. So make sure you have visibility of everything, whether you have your income in India or UK, and make sure you track it and file your taxes properly in both the countries.
So one tax question, like I would love to know what, like, if you had one tax question like 10 years back, what it could be. Like if you had to ask any tax expert a question on based on tax 10 years back, so what it could be?
I wish you met me 10 years before, but okay, imagine you are that person. I will tell how will my Indian assets, like say property, savings, or NRI accounts, be taxed once I become a UK resident? Because once I was becoming a UK resident, I didn't know how things changed. For me, nothing changed. I just changed a country. For me, I thought nothing changes. So knowing that earlier would have saved me both tax and also stress. So always ask about cross-border taxation before you move. That is what I'll say. And especially for people who don't like tax topic, again, take expert help like I do.
Okay. So moving on to rapid fire, I would like to ask you some rapid questions. You have to reply very fast. So like UK pension versus EPF.
UK pension for stability, EPF for nostalgia.
London property versus Mumbai apartment.
London property, smaller space, but bigger price tag. However, Mumbai apartment, even smaller, but the energy is unmatched.
Okay. NHS versus Indian healthcare.
NHS for free access, India for speed. So depends on your situation or on my situation, what I want at that time.
British passport versus OCI card.
British passport for global mobility and OCI for emotional roots.
So like retirement in Goa versus retirement in Cotswolds.
Goa for the sunshine and Cotswolds for the countryside charm. But I'll be happy taking I'll be happy taking both in different seasons because, like I said, winter is really rough here in the UK.
So complete this sentence. In 2040, I'll be living in dash because dash.
I'm going to tweak it a little bit, like I told in my previous answers. So I'm going to say in 2040, I will be living 6 months in India and 6 months traveling world. Because why choose one home when you have many?
So that's all for today, Sarica. Thank you for joining us. It was a nice conversation with you and to learn many things from you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Thank you.